ẹṣu biribiri kẹ́bọ̀ mi o. Iwájú lọ́lọ́kọ mi wà mí lọ, ẹ̀yìn lọ́lọ́kọ mi wà mí lọ. Mi ò mọ̀, mi ò mọ̀, mi ò mọ̀, mi ò mọ̀ yé o. Mi ò mọ̀, mi ò mọ̀, mi ò mọ̀, mi ò mọ̀ yé o. Mi ò mọ̀, mi ò mọ̀, mi ò mọ̀, mi ò mọ̀ yé o. Mi ò mọ̀. Ẹṣu biribiri kẹ́bọ̀ mi o. Iwájú lọ́lọ́kọ mi wà mí lọ, ẹ̀yìn lọ́lọ́kọ mi wà mí lọ.
Hello, everybody. Once again, this is Fred Wanko coming to you from our studios in Chicago with a post-inaugural edition of Bold Talk on Island TV. Guys, today it's going to be a potpourri of rambling. But as you already know my shows, when I'm rambling, I'm making a lot of sense. Bear with me, and I wish somebody somehow can get this episode to somebody in Bola Ahmed Tinubu's kitchen cabinet. The reason is that over the last 8 months, God knows that I've been 100% obedient. God knows that I've been 100% anti-Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But we have a country, regardless of what we think about it. Until we get Biafra or Duduwa State or Arewa State, we only have one country. And it is in our best interest to ensure that if this is all we have, that all of us do what it takes to ensure that this country remains a place where we can all live in peace and harmony. Before I go into the details of what I'm trying to do today, let me do something I always intended to do but never got around to it. And I wonder why you keep watching my show, because I know you're watching, but you're not sharing it. You're not liking it. I'm not saying you should like it. You should hate it and show that you hate it so I know what to modify. And you should subscribe. This is how TV stations on YouTube grow. What good is it that I'm getting about 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 views per edition, but in the end, it's only showing up as 800 views, 700 views, 1,500 views? When I send these things out to you, click on the link, not on the picture. When you click on the picture, it's not recording on YouTube. If you're gonna watch me, I might as well get credit for you watching me. Is that too much to ask? Now, with that said, the reality is that Nigerians cannot afford to take the path of least resistance. Nigerians must stand up for what's right. Bola Ahmed Tinubu must break from Buhari's past. There's no time for honeymoon. We wasted 8 years under Buhari. It took over 6 months to announce a full slate of ministers. Bola Ahmed Tinubu needed to hit the ground running. As of this recording, he still hasn't made critical appointments. Bola Ahmed Tinubu aspired to be president of Nigeria. He was not persuaded. Nobody persuaded Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bola Ahmed Tinubu announced to Yorubas in Ogun State. Yorubas gathered in Ogun State where he gave them his lecture and told them he was the man who made Buhari and now Emilokon. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Emilokon, Edeti Debe. Now you have to do what needs to be done to dig Nigeria out of these doldrums. Tinubu must unite Nigerians, and that lies squarely on his shoulders. Tinubu played a significant role, covertly or overtly, it doesn't matter. But everything that happened in Lagos on February 18th that led to Lagos boiling and the hate that has risen for Igbo people rests squarely on Bola Ahmed Tinubu's shoulders.
Political power is not going to be served in a restaurant. It's not served in a la carte. At all costs, fight for, grab it, snatch it. It's not served in a la carte. A la carte. A la carte.
No, I don't show these things to embarrass our president. I show these as food for thought. I show these to prick his conscience. I also show these to remind his supporters who want to crucify me for telling the truth that there are facts out there for the things I say. I don't make anything up against Tinubu. But if you listen to me till the end, you're going to see that this episode is not anti-Tinubu, but we cannot get where we're trying to go by forgetting what happened in the past. All those things are things we need to learn from. And all I'm saying is learn from them and learn how to tell the truth. You Bola Ahmed Tinubu supporter. Lying is not going to help you. And you people have lied a lot to back up your man. But those lies will haunt your children and my children, your grandchildren and mine. And I hope somebody is living to remind them about what you supported that led to what they are going through, whether it's 10 years from now or 5 years from now. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has to work for the benefit of all Nigerians. As president of Nigeria, he cannot be president of Lagosians. He cannot be president of Yorubas. He cannot be president of Fulanis. He has to be president of Nigeria. He needs to genuinely reach out to his adversaries. Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to genuinely reach out to the Igbos of Nigeria. Igbos have been Nigeria's punching bag for the last 50 years. I am an Igbo man. When I say that, the bigot is quick to say he's bringing up tribe. I'm not bringing up tribe. I'm bringing up facts. The progressives in Nigeria, Yorubas, Edos, Fulanis, Hausas, will hear the same thing and say the man is right. Right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Today, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the president of my country. In that position, if he does well, we all do well. If he continues on the path of Buhari, we may not have a country. I say that to say this. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has some attributes that are very, very positive. In his 8 years as governor of Lagos State, depending on where you're looking from, you can say that he really built Lagos. And he whether you like him or not, he created a cash base for Lagos to the extent that no governor before him had done. With that said, critics will also tell you that even though Bola Ahmed Tinubu created that cash base for Lagos, that the accounting part of it leaves much to be desired. And for the purpose of this episode, I want to leave that to Lagosians. But on the national level, now that he's president of Nigeria, I just want to caution him and say he must remember that Niger no be Lagos. And this is why he has to pick his advisors carefully. Pick the people he's working with carefully. It's legacy time. He cannot make the mistakes he made in Lagos. If Bola Ahmed Tinubu would put together a team like he has done severally in Lagos, without regard to where they come from, considering that in Lagos he brought in people from Ogun State, people from Osun State, people from Oyo State, people from Ekiti, people from Anambra, people from Imo, people from Cross River, Rivers, Edo, anybody who lived in Lagos that was qualified to do what he needed done, he brought them in. But this time, if he could learn from what he did in Lagos and why he failed in Lagos, and this time bring in this expanse of knowledge from all parts of the country and let them do their work without trying to control their head, which is what he did in Lagos, which is why people who criticize him and say he wanted to control everything. If he'll come on the national level and bring Nigerians together, regardless of who he thinks is for him or against him, but bring good people that are honest, that they didn't vote for you doesn't mean they're not going to work honestly for you and for the country. If Bola Ahmed Tinubu puts together a team, something we know he's capable of doing, based on qualification, not nepotism like Buhari, there's a good possibility he could move Nigeria in the right direction. And if he does that, people like me would stop coming out here and bringing up his negative attributes of the past. God knows that I haven't only been hard on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I've also been equally hard, if not harder, on the man he picked as his vice president. Laugh with me as you listen up to what Vice President Kashim Shettima is saying here.
As we begin the formation of a new administration, I deliberately picked an Igbo man, a Catholic, to be my chief security officer. Stand up for recognition, please.
Folks, I had to shake my head at that one. But I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say here. I don't know if you've heard the saying about holding a cup that has half the content in it. Some choose to pick up that cup and say, oh no, it's almost all gone. It's only half left. And some choose to say, pick up the same cup and say, wow, I almost have a full cup left. That's what I'm trying to do here. You guys know where I've been the last 8 months with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President Shetima. But I need a country. And if this is the hand we're dealt, I can't choose to keep being negative the next 4 years. So I'm struggling to find some positive things. It's good to see Vice President Kashim Shettima make fun of himself. But I also hope that the things we said about him was enough food for thought, that he will always be conscious about dealing with Boko Haram. I would like Bola Ahmed Tinubu to change my perspective on him and bring back that genius Bola Ahmed Tinubu that performed in Lagos. And let's see what we could do with Nigeria to move this great country, potentially great country, in the right direction. It's time to do that. And it bodes well for Bola Ahmed Tinubu if he does that. It bodes well for him to build a legacy that makes people forget whatever they had in the past that they didn't like of him and remember him for being the president against all odds that came in and turned Nigeria around. But that turnaround and that spirit of working together, if he appoints the right people, starts with him uniting Nigerians. Bola Ahmed Tinubu can really score a lot of positive points if he becomes the president of Nigeria that takes the lead in showing that Nigeria belongs to all of us, and what you see bad in one Nigerian is bad in other Nigerians, and what you see good in one Nigerian is good in other Nigerians. No Nigerian tribe holds a monopoly to bad or good. And these are the reasons why we must be very, very careful about stories and the danger of a single story. Igbos fought a war in 1967. That's over 50 years ago. And today, when we look back to the reason why that war was fought, were Igbos right in fighting it, or were they wrong? Let's look at the 1966 coup in Nigeria. In the minds of the bigots in Nigeria, whether it's Fulani or Yoruba bigots, they say it was an Igbo coup. Was the 1966 coup really an Igbo coup? Or was it a coup that had officers from every part of Nigeria? And in the army, who takes charge? The senior officers or the younger officers? So if Yoruba and Igbo and Fulani and Hausa and Edo and Ijo officers decide to have a coup, and the most high-ranking officers in the army are Igbos, and the Igbo person leads the coup, does it make it an Igbo coup? In 2015, Igbos massively voted against Buhari. In 2019, Igbos massively voted against Buhari. In 2023, this time, Igbos and progressive Nigerians from all across Nigeria massively voted against Tinubu. Never mind where we are today and who was inaugurated. We all know what happened. But I'm not going to go there. This is not a negative edition. This is a food for thought edition. But the reason I bring this up is I want to ask you a question. Knowing what you know from the sound bites I just gave you, and if you go and read real history, not exaggerated stories, do you think Igbos were wrong in 1967 to fight that war? Do you think Igbos were wrong in 2015 to vote against Buhari? Do you think Igbos were wrong in 2019 to vote against Buhari again? And in 2023, in the deepness of your honesty, never mind where your sentiments are, do you really believe the results that INEC produced for this last election? But I'm not saying it to make trouble. Igbos have a proverb that says, which means it doesn't matter if at night you were being eaten up by bed bugs and all that stuff. Let's pretend it's all mosquitoes. Mosquito bites are more civilized than what leads to a house that has bed bugs. That's a different story. Now that President Tinubu has an opportunity, a serious opportunity, and if he takes advantage of it, he's going to come out smelling like roses. Nigeria is a very divided country. I like to say that he didn't play any role in dividing Nigeria, but I'll be lying. But I like to see him play a role in uniting Nigeria and be bold-faced enough to tell Nigerians that I've made mistakes, but I'm here to correct my mistakes. None of us is perfect. We all make mistakes. It's not the mistakes we made that we are remembered for. It's what we did or didn't do to correct those mistakes that become the legacy that we leave behind. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has an incredible opportunity here. Bola Ahmed Tinubu should focus on running Nigeria regardless of what's going on in the tribunal. If Bola Ahmed Tinubu does all these things, if Nigeria become united people, if the temperature is brought down in Lagos, if all Nigerians, especially Igbos and Yorubas, can find the things that unite us and stress those and de-emphasize the things that divide us, who knows? God works in mysterious ways. Yes, God works in mysterious ways. But sometimes man also has to create an atmosphere that gives God the opportunity to work in mysterious ways. I said that to say this to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. To unite Nigeria, we have to be honest about it. This discussion cannot end without me bringing up the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I don't think I need to tell the president that Nnamdi Kanu did not do anything different from what Sunday Igboho did or is doing, less than what Boko Haram is doing, and less than what Fulani herdsmen wreaked across Nigeria. The only two people that suffered incarceration were Sunday Igboho, who I support what he is doing. I'm 100% behind him. And then Nnamdi Kanu. Nothing has happened to Boko Haram with all the havoc they've wreaked across northern Nigeria. Nothing has happened to Fulani herdsmen. For 50 years since the war ended, Igbos have been quiet, and Igbos have acted like stepchildren in Nigeria. As long as Nnamdi Kanu is incarcerated for doing no less than people from other parts of Nigeria have done, and nothing has happened to them, we are not going to find peace in Nigeria. Mr. President, Igbos want peace, but there can be no peace without fairness. As long as we're part of Nigeria and you refuse to give us Biafra, we want to be treated fairly like people from any other segment of our country. However, if you don't think we deserve to be treated like anybody else in Nigeria, give us Biafra. That's not too much to ask. Mr. President, make it one of your first actions in the first 30 days of your administration to set Nnamdi Kanu free. The other thing I want to say, as you make your appointments across the board, be it Fulanis or Yorubas or Igbos or Edos or anybody, the people you've worked with in the past that did you favors, do them favors, but not favors that make it seem like if you're making appointments that represent their region. I say that to say that for years under Buhari and in your campaign, you surround yourself with Igbos that have no significance to the Igbo agenda. If you're making your ministerial appointments and you're making your appointments for directors or anything that is significant that relates to Igbos, please, Mr. President, names like Ojo Zokalo, Rochas Okorocha, and Chimaroke Ndamani. Nothing wrong with them. I have nothing against them. But whatever favors you do for them is them, personal favors. For appointments that have to do with Eastern region and the southeast of Nigeria, it may be important that you consult with more open-minded, non-partisan, apolitical Igbo people to give you names you need from Anambra or Enugu or Abia or Imo or Ebonyi. Because working with the people you've worked with and APC has worked with for the last 8 years doesn't really do much for the essence of resolving the frictions that arise with you, your political party, and people of the Southeast. Nigeria belongs to all of us. Nigeria belongs to people who supported Bola Ahmed Tinubu and people who did not support Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And in trying to unite the country, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu must consider these facts. Some people inside his campaign were very, very dividing. Festus Keyamo, Femi Fani-Kayode, Bayo Ononuga, Dele Alake. These people were very divisive in the things they said. But like I said, this is not a critical edition. This is an edition that is trying to find ways for us to work together. All I'm saying is that Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to bring these people into the kitchen and talk with them about the need to tone down their rhetoric and understand that at this stage of everything going on, the only way to move our country forward is to be united and to be conciliatory. If Bola Ahmed Tinubu does all these, but most importantly, build a team around him to handle every aspect of these things that need to be done, maybe 4 years from now, we may all be able to get together and hold our hands together and say, united at last, and truly call ourselves fellow countrymen and women. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Fred Nwankwo, as usual, coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Allen TV. And until next time, good night and God bless.
Àní wọ́n lọ para wọn pọ̀rọ̀ jàre o. Wọ́n ní wọ́n fẹ́ bàtẹ yẹra gbé jẹ́. Wọ́n ṣèṣì wọ́n lọ kìyẹ́ ẹyẹ agbèbárò. Kàkà kí tẹ̀yẹra gbé bàjẹ́ ṣe ló tún dára sí i. Wọ́n lọ para wọn pọ̀. Wọ́n ní wọ́n fẹ́ bàtí ẹyẹ àlùkò jẹ́. Wọ́n lọ ṣe ṣìkìyẹ́rà lóko bó sùn o. Kàkà kí tẹ̀yẹrà lóko bàjẹ́ ṣe ló tún dára sí i. Àní wọ́n ní wọ́n fẹ́ bá tó dídẹrẹ́ mọ́ fẹ́ jẹ́ o.